DreamHack Open is brought to you by Corsair, Monster Energy, Esport Management, and GGBet.
One team has booked their ticket into the finals, and one more is waiting in the wings. It's going to be Avangar versus Valiance, fighting for their chance to play against a very scary and confident Furia on their home turf. This is DreamHack Rio 2019, and that last game was fantastic, and I expect just as much fun out of the one we're about to jump into. I'm your host for the show, Bach. Joining me on the desk, as they have been all weekend long, very patient with me as well, it's Potter and Dust. I've given Dust a little bit of frazzing, but he's done a pretty decent job. Okay, like so-so, right?
Very decent job.
Very decent?
Very decent job.
He's out-predicted the two of us, but, I mean, we did it with style. This is like form,
that's what only you and I
over
think.
Function. I think that's kind of how we can sum up the desk.
I'm just whatever you want to do, man. It's your desk, you're hosting it. I'm just along for the ride. Try to throw an insight where I can. Try to help out, you know, whatever you feel is best.
Why don't we go ahead and take a look at the bracket just so you guys can understand how we got to where we're at and where it is that we're going. So Furia does end up taking down Sharks 2-0 after a very close Inferno, but a not so close Vertigo. Our first taste of Vertigo here at DreamHack, and it was fun to watch, but I really expected more out of Sharks on that one.
It was pretty one-sided. Very one-sided indeed.
No, I mean, I think that Vertigo is obviously very one-sided. I even think Inferno kind of was as well, for being 100% honest. So it's cool to see Fury in the finals. And again, I think that this is going to be an interesting match because it's hard to know where it's going to go. I mean, both these teams are ranked in pretty similar position in the world rankings right now. They haven't played against each other a lot, but when they have, it's been pretty close. Both teams probably feel like they should be in the finals. I mean, it's not like there's like a true underdog in this game like most games. I feel like this might be the closest matchup we've had all tournament long as far as, you know, how good both of these teams are and how they should stack up against each other.
Yeah, I mean, when we were looking at the groups from face value, everyone would have expected that Valiance would have been playing in that last game, not Sharks, because Sharks actually ended up coming out of the top seed of the group. Valiance is the number 2, so now they have to fight Avangar in the semifinal. But at the same point in time, either opponent in a semifinal is tough. Furia or Avangar, it's not an easy win regardless of who you're playing against.
It's definitely not. And if you look at both these teams and their progress up to this point to the semifinals, it was very different, very stark differences in both these teams' styles of play. You've got Avangar, who's very disciplined. You know that they have a lot of protocols. You know that their default is going to be very strong. You've got Jame in the back foot to clutch your rounds always for you, and these players know that. So it's a little bit more of a calculated, slower approach, whereas you have Valiance, who is very... Valiance, who is
You're getting there.
very explosive, and they're very aggressive. You got players like Hunter, who's just gonna go in there with an MP5 and get a 4K in 2 seconds, and so they're very explosive. I think they're two very opposite teams, though.
Now, Dust, you have 3 reasons. What are they? Hit them with us.
All right, this is 3 reasons why this is going to be a really good game. First of all, it's something that Potter's already hit it on, how different these styles are for these two teams. The bread and butter of Avangar is very much the classic CIS style of slow, methodical defaults into mid-round protocols and, you know, having really defined roles and then just kind of working a slow pace, but they can throw in some stuff. They're a lot deeper, whereas again, over on Valiance, it's a lot more flashy. It's a lot more star players, aggressive plays, contact action, simple pop flash pushes. They don't even really have a true in-game leader, so because of that, they have to be a little bit more reliant on playing a little bit looser and a little bit more scrappy. Then we have sick players on both teams going into this game. When you look at Avangar, you always think of James, such a sick opper, good in-game leader, always puts up monster numbers. He's #1 rated tournament right now, so if he keeps that up, he definitely could be an MVP candidate going into the grand finals. And then Quickert and Buster also putting in work. And I'll have to say this, Sanji, the new guys, actually played quite well, so want to point him out. And then you go over to the side of Valiance, and the whole point of this lineup is to just be a bunch of stars in the Tier 2 European scene. Esperano, Nexa, Hunter, all these guys who can pop off, so that means you're going to see some fiery action. And then finally, another big reason why this game is so good is because they have a really close head-to-head history. I mean, we've seen these teams trade best-of-3 series against each other between the ECS Pinnacle Cup and the DreamHack Dallas qualifiers, and most of those games were 16-13, 16-14 type maps, so that means that they have a history of playing each other really close, which should provide for really good semifinals, I think.
Well said. It's like you've done your research.
A little bit.
Just a little, just a tiny bit. It's only like 85 pages, no big deal. Now, looking at the map vetoes, Christine, is there anything that we should expect to see from both of these teams when it comes to maps they're going to get rid of, maps they would like to play?
Avangar has been insta-vetoing Nuke every single time, so I expect the same from them there, and Valiance have been vetoing Dust 2, or Overpass, sorry. So I'm assuming those two are going to come out, and in these best of threes, it's always tricky, right? And Valiance already said that they're not afraid to play Vertigo. So we already saw Vertigo coming out being first picked last series. I'm curious to see if they have the cojones to do it again as well.
It's a weird matchup because like you got the auto bans exactly right, which also happens to be their opponent's best map in many cases. So it's actually the perfect time to have these types of auto bans. So yeah, the Overpass ban coming out for Valiance, Avangar, like you said, probably going to ban Nuke. As far as picks go, I could definitely see a Mirage coming out. I could definitely perhaps see a Train coming out. Inferno is always very popular, but then you got to think about that whole Vertigo sneaky pick action. Like that certainly is something that could happen again here.
All right, so Train, not Vertigo. I'm waiting for it. I don't want to look because I feel like I'm going to jinx it.
Inferno. There you go. Could be a third map, though. Could get floated as the second bans go through. I could maybe see that happen.
It's got to be intimidating to try to go out and pick Vertigo again when you just saw the team that picked it get so destroyed on it. If that was a part of your game plan, I'm sure they're calling it audible. They're like, oh, no, let's not.
So the thing is, you know, as much as you might think that you're prepared, you don't know what your opponent looks like on the map. So that's what I think what happened in that last series. It's like you assume that you're just the better team because you don't really know. There's no information available. So you're thinking like, oh, we've been playing this a bunch. We're good. And then you get into a game, you're like, wow, I'm nowhere near as good as I thought I was. This is awful. It's kind of like going to your first LAN. Like you've been playing CS with your buddies at home, you're like, we're totally ready. And then you go and it's like 16-0, 16-0, we're bodied in groups, and you're just back home in an hour, and you're like, what happened? For
sure, and especially because Vertigo is such a chaotic map. The contact, the fights happen in such close proximities. Everyone's jumping in the air. The flicks are happening up and down. It's chaotic.
Now, we did sit down with the players to talk to them about their journey into the playoffs. Let's take a look.
It feels great because we worked really hard for it, and we actually expected when we saw the groups. We thought we were favorites in our group, so we thought we were going to end up first, but unfortunately for us, we went second, but it's all good. We're in the semifinals, so it's fine.
First one, Esperanto off sandwich, low HP, and they almost line up for him. Nexa can still pull this back. Oh, he's done it. 3 kills for Nexa off ramp.
A monster, an absolute monster. The last player was full health. He was low by the end, but
every tournament we attend, the goal is to win, nothing less. So we're not going to be satisfied if we don't win this tournament. I know we're capable of doing that, so that's it.
We played like 2 weeks at boot camp. We just fixing our game every day, every game. I'm feeling like we are playing like 50% at our game. I think to win this tournament, we need to play better.
Knows exactly where they're at, but he needs to find the 1v1s, and he has taken the first. The shot, James got one more chance! Oh my God! Just one more chance!
oh my God!
And it's all he needs, Mo.
That is unreal.
We want to win this tournament, like always. We are preparing for every game. It's like we need to show who is best.
We're playing Avangar. They are a really good team, but we know we're capable of beating them. Also, we are capable of beating pretty much almost every team in the world.
I feel like we are best, but we need to show it.
So both teams feel like they're destined for finals. They feel confident that they should be there. I do like the fact that Valiance addresses that they didn't come out as the #1 seed. They kind of felt like they deserved that #1 spot, and they sort of let the ball drop. But now they have to play against Avangar in the semifinals. I mean, I really don't think there was a good opponent to face in the semifinals. Either way, it's a tough match. We kind of talked about that coming into this.
It definitely is, and it was a little worrisome watching Valiance on the first day. They had a little bit of a slow start. You saw the highlight clip of Nexa there. He was explosive from day one, and including yesterday. But all the other players, a little bit of a slower start, but it bodes well that Auto actually showed up big yesterday on that nuke, the last match of the day. And he really started to shine on that CT side with that op. His mobility started coming in, and you could really see the synergy between him and Nexa.
Yeah, and I feel like this land's so important for Avangar. I mean, they had a really cool epicenter at the end of last year, but then it was immediately followed by disappointments at Chicago in the PLG Grand Slam. We did see them, though, do really well at this last major system, flying through the CIS Minor, flying through the Challenger stage, you know, getting wins against Fury, who they might meet in the finals, and Tyloo. Also in the Legends stage, they had wins over Energy and FaZe, had a really competitive game against Team Liquid, only getting knocked out by 2 top 5 teams, Na'Vi and Ints. So the thing is, though, their history has been a lot of ups and downs. Like a really cool result, and you think, okay, this team's about to breach the top 10. Then they would have like a really disappointing finish at a LAN. So I feel like this is a LAN where, yeah, you're already in the top 4. That's great, but you should be coming into this thinking, I need the trophy. Like, you're a top 15 team in the world. You're one of the highest ranked teams here, and I feel like this is a really important run for them.
I feel like that is a persistent problem for fringe teams who are trying to fight their way into the top 10 to prove that they belong, or even the top 20, is that they'll have like a really good event and then follow it up with a couple of duds, and then they'll follow it up with another really good event. And it's like they're constantly almost there, and then it's just like a roller coaster. It's up and down, up and down. And it's in those down periods that you see them make changes, and then you start to get concerned because like, this roster was so close to working out.
And it's all about consistency, right? And it's what these teams are really trying to achieve, is to create that foundation, create that consistency so that they can come to these tournaments and understand exactly what it's going to take to win. And Avangar is just right there, and I would say Valiance is just right there as well.
Yeah, the thing with Valiance is they're still such a fresh team. Like, you don't really know much about them, and they've had, you know, their bumps and roads online, but they've also done well at times. The big thing is kind of going for them is at the European minor, they at least looked impressive knocking out Mouse Sports. Like, that was a pretty big scalp to take off the board and denied them a chance at a major, and they very nearly made the major themselves. It came down some really close series to Vitality that they just missed out on, and then after that, you know, they came home. They were able to win that United Masters League finals against a Wendigo team who's been looking really, really hot lately with their WESG win and such, and even looked pretty good at EPL here recently. And so now this is a team, again, a star-studded lineup, a lot of Europeans coming together from Imperial and from the original Valiance back into Binary Dragons. You know, some of these players had histories of winning DreamHack Opens. You know, it's Esperanto Nexa who won DreamHack Summer when they were on Imperial last year. So they should feel in their own right that with all the talent they had, that they should have a good shot at this also.
For sure, and we saw, let's talk about the head-to-head with Quickert and Hunter. I mean, Quickert has been really explosive. I would say he's the player right behind James that's really taking Avangar and pushing them over the edge. And of course, Hunter. This guy, his headshot percentage has been so impressive all weekend.
I feel like they play a similar role on their respective teams too. Like, both of them are super flexible riflers. Like, sometimes they'll play the edge of the map and be kind of a playmaker, just hold position, while they free up someone else to be really aggressive. So for the Avangar side, it's like, you know, Quicker doing that to free up Buster or James to go do something. Whereas, you know, Hunter's made a lot of sacrifices. He used to be more of like a second entry type player. He's kind of giving up that role to Esperanto a lot to make him feel comfortable. So he's had to take a hit maybe a little bit. He has to in-game lead now of necessity. Quicker's done a little bit of in-game leading in his own right. So there's so many parallels you can draw to these two players and their trajectories, and both of them are going to be vital to their teams to be able to have success in the semifinal.
I feel like there's parallels you could draw between the teams in general, just based on the structure. Like you mentioned, the in-game leading being somewhat more flexible between these two teams. I feel like that kind of matches across both of them. Like there's not really like that one guy who's saying like, this is 100%, he's the leader. There's always like these kind of fringe guys who have input.
Yeah, it seems like Jane's pretty solidified, but you're right. Quicker's definitely dabbled in. I'm sure he gets a lot of support from his coaching staff as well. And then, yeah, that's definitely the case on Valiance. It's definitely kind of a democratic ruling system over there, I feel like, and they rely on their coach a lot, Emmy, to kind of give a lot of feedback, especially in the DreamHack Open events where I feel like coaches have a little bit more opportunity to be hands-on with their teams.
And we heard in the interview, the Avangar players were saying clearly James is 100% our captain. Whatever he says, we'll listen to him. And you can see that on the Avangar side of things. You can see that they're a lot more disciplined and they have a lot more of structure on their side of things.
The teams are all set up, it looks like, so I don't think we're that far off from jumping into the action. No, Dust, you mentioned the coaching role. You know, it's something different that maybe people don't quite understand. Like you mentioned how they have a little bit more flexibility. Why don't you explain what you're talking about?
Yeah, so most tournaments is just based on timeouts, but I feel like DreamHack Open typically is allowed during freeze time talk as well. And that's really the compromise I think everyone wants. I think that's what we're hopefully going to build towards in the future, is to let coaches talk during freeze time, make it more like traditional sports. You know, if you're going to compare it to, like, say, something like American football where you get to have the coach talk in between plays. So I can understand not wanting the coach to be the in-game leader and get away from that like we had in the past where that was, you know, maybe going to be a problem. But I think that limiting them to these small timeouts, and I think it lessens their impact way too much. I'd love to see a compromise of let them talk during freeze time.
Now, Dust, with that said, who do you got in the series?
This is the hardest prediction, I think, all tournament long. I think that with Train coming in, this is the one that really hurts Avangar. They lost it the last 5 times they've played it on land. So Avangar had a huge disadvantage on Train. So I have to give Valiance a nod there. Maybe Avangar gets Inferno. But I think that Avangar is a little bit better on Dust too. So let's say each team takes their picks and we got to go to a war on the 3rd map. I do favor Avangar a little bit there on Dust too. So I will go ahead and take them to win the series.
We got to remember also Valiance already played Train earlier in this tournament versus Sharks, and they actually ended up losing that match 16-13, and that could bode well for them though, actually, to lose a map that you're comfortable on earlier on in the tournament. And coming into today, I'm sure that they talked about it, they discussed their mistakes, and so they're probably going to approach it a little bit differently. But I do have to also give my vote for Avangar. I think that these two styles clashing are going to be complete two opposites, but I do think that the structure of Avangar will pull through. And James, he's such a clutch player. It's going to be hard to move past him.
I'm going to have to agree with both of you guys. I think that Avangar takes this. I think that, like you said, the structure of Jane definitely does help. Valiance looked just a little bit sloppy that first day. And even though they improved yesterday, it still wasn't as good as it should be. For a team that has the talent level that they have, it seems just a little bit too loose. And that's ultimately going to be their undoing. I feel like Avangar probably takes this in 3. I feel like a 3rd map is very likely, but they could take it in 2. I don't think that Valiance has the power to take it in 2. They would have to take it in 3, and even that would be somewhat of a fluke in my opinion.
I feel like the Dust 2 map 3 is like the key factor for me in all this, outside of the in-game leadership X factor. That's the really massive, that you have a true in-game leader in James, and then Valiance over there, they're not going to be as easy to adjust. But on Dust 2, Avangar 7-4 on land, and 3 of those 4 losses are to Na'Vi, like one of the best teams in the world. So they feel very confident on that map, and I feel like this is one of those series where you should finally see a map 3. Like, I think Avangar's in a little bit of trouble on Train, but I think they are the better team and should win Inferno. So again, I think that you really got to think about Dust 2 in this series.
Do you agree?
100%. I don't even think it's going to get to the 3rd map, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, so I was kind of thinking the same thing. And I'm curious what the Twitch chat out there thought as well. We'll pull up the odds here so we can take a peek. Pretty even. I'm not entirely surprised by that. You know, like Dust, you had said, this is a really tough one to predict.
It is. I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is that I had to weigh this up. Avangar's lost Train the last 5 times we played on land, but they're losing to like Ints, Na'Vi, Renegades, like some of the best teams in the world. So maybe it's weighed a little bit, right? Like it's losses, but it's against really stiff competition. So I think Christine could be onto something though, because their losses are against such strong opponents. Maybe they still can play Train. I mean, they're really comfortable on it online, and they do have some credible wins on it as well. So I definitely think it's up for grabs.
Well, we do have our casters standing by, and we'll see if we've got it right or if we've got it wrong or if they even agree. We've got the Scronders combo. Take it away.
Will do, boss. Will do. We'll see you guys in a bit. Mohan, the 2nd semifinal. We've got Furia there. Brazilian representation, but who will they be facing? Avangar, Valiance, where do you stand on this one?
I think Avangar. I actually think Avangar in 2.
Yeah.
Although they have like lost Train a lot recently, they have a good Train. And I feel like today, or just in this tournament, Avangar are the better team. Valiance are not as good as we've seen them be. And even in their comfort zone when they're playing on Mirage, they're not as good as they normally are. And I just feel like for that reason, Avangar are just going to be better. And this might be the day that that streak breaks. I feel like we know from Epicenter, watching them on Train, the amount of cool stuff that they do. And the amount of structure that they bring to the server, I think will be a little bit too much. Stylistically, I'm always going to favor a team like Avangar over Valiance, who take a lot more risks and rely more heavily on players like, on their top players. So in this situation, Esperanto and Hunter are playing well, and that's good. Nexa comes in as the 3rd piece, who's on and off. Otto and Letny, disappointing to me, especially, I mean, in a lot of the rounds that we've watched. And I haven't had those same doubts about Avangar.
I feel you there. If you had asked me before this event even started, I would have said Furia Avangar Grand Finals.
Yeah.
I still am going to hold true to that. You know, we had a shaky bout when it came to Furia at the start of things. Avangar cleared their group 2-0, and that was the tough group. So we shall see, because the game's gone live. Valiance to the T side, Avangar on the defense, and they're going to go ahead and get themselves numbers on the A site early.
Letny posted up and waiting. He's spread very thin right now. Avangar not looking for information whatsoever. Buster's got eyes down Ivy, but Esperanto is just as passive, holding it. Can't tell if they're just going to try to bust outside. Looking at the utility, 2 smokes. It could be back 6 and Z. That could be 2 smokes for inner. And it looks like one's going to be Z, but this still could mean inner.
smoke set out. Now this is a Z smoke over on the B site and a smoke for back Ivy on A. Not to mention a smoke near the site to block off any players who may have been trying to challenge the ladder room, but it's Sanji from the site itself with Heaven in their hands as well. Fitch strikes from the side, and that will drop bomb for a moment. Now Buster, oh, he had the element of surprise, but he just can't land his shot.
Oof.
And that's gonna give Valiance the man advantage. They've recuperated bomb. James, now known over here on Ivy. They don't have eyes on Kicker, now they do. In fact, his eyes peeled out.
Oh, he
James on
knows.
for the 1v3. He knows Otto's in here. He knows Otto's in there, but doesn't hit it right away. A reload means a fresh mag's gonna have to be it. 9 bullets is all he has. He needs to pop Otto, and now it falls to Nexa. He's close, and he puts himself on the top of the stopper, offsets the headshot, and Valiance win their pistol.
Yeah, really nice, good positioning by him to get that one pistol kill. Buster let that one drop so big, man. He pushed through the smoke.
Could have been huge.
4 or 5 shots to the side of the head. You know, biggest possible hitbox. Couldn't nail it. So unlucky, I suppose. Now they have to rebuy. They're going to get a scout. They got a couple of grenades, and it looks like mostly upgraded pistols here. While Valiant are rocking 3 rifles, 2 SMGs, 2 Galils, and one of them's gone. Sanji. An initial 1D out to Z.
I've been really impressed with Sanji so far this
He's
event.
been nuts, man.
Yep.
Yeah, you said it.
And I mean, I said it because in terms of like when he was playing with Cyman Gaming at the CIS minor for Katowice, he looked okay. You know, I could understand since I believe he was calling for them as well. Like, he's a well-rounded player, but I mean, he was lighting it up in their first 2 matches here in Rio. I didn't think he was going to be coming in as that top fragger, but that's what he gave us. So let's see if he can transition it in. Starts this round with a hell of a shot.
Valiants don't move a muscle. The top of the ladder, posted back with a bomb, while Avangar are getting frisky, looking around. They don't have vision on the bomb right here, but Nexa can get killed. Oh my god, Galil spray. It's not always reliable, but he had more than enough time to readjust.
Yeah, no matter how cool your shoes are, don't get caught looking at them. Because now the bomb's been thrown over. Oh, but he didn't know, excuse me. I thought he had eyes on it. It was tucked away the whole time. That's good foresight by Valiance.
Oh man, if they don't clear upper this round, Fitch is in such a good spot.
And he's a killer in this position. Now luckily James Scout shot the first one doesn't connect, the follow-up most certainly will. Grenade's gonna soften them up as well. Fitch knows he's being watched now. Flash goes down, he's gonna try to peek into this. Sanji has gotten a kill at a distance, and as his 5-7 falls, it's Esperanto 1v5. He's being peppered, he's being pummeled. And now he's been plucked right off the site. It's Avangar back in as they rob the second round.
They stole that back, and they made it look so easy too. Valiance picked the pistol, but the ferocity from Avangar is too much. Positioning was great. The initial kill, obviously Sanji playing a pivotal role that round. He got the initial 1D. It's a hard shot to do. Recovers the Galil from enemy lines, and then turns that into another 2, and sees that there's a smoke being lined up. Gets a lot of information here. Doesn't actually spot the bomb, but it's fine because Fitch is up top. A little bit of a spam.
I see you, Sanji.
1 round stolen back. A lot better guns now here. James already up on the op. It might be a bit early for that, considering Valiance could not beat them this.
Happy Valiance just swallow their pride and don't try to buy back in on this.
Yeah, it was 4 alive, so yeah, smart decision. Could have definitely been a waste of money. And maybe that's what James anticipated, that they would just counter force. That's why he bought it up, so. It's not a gun you honestly want to have versus pistols, so it could be a boon for Valiance if they're able to find him somehow. Already got ladder control, which is pretty good. And I think, the bomb carrier doesn't have a flash, so they're just gonna have to explode.
Whoa, almost finding the timing. Talking about not wanting an op versus the pistols, well, especially if you are soaring through the skies. But no worries, Buster's got him dead to rights. Sanji's a casualty, so what? It's a Galil. 2-1 for Avangar.
You always like to see, you know, a little bit of utility, a flash, something like that. But at least they get the ladder control. They go for the burst. They now buy. Otto's going to be the only one with a different gun. It's going to be a Sig. Avangar don't have to upgrade. They keep the UMP on Kickert. I hope he has a spawn because he'd be very valuable on the ladder. It looks like he is out front, but he's going inner this time. Sanji once again going out to Z. They trade flashes outside. The first tier execute comes out, baits out this piece of utility and some rotation. James, though, is so thorough. Inside, gets Letney out early. No damage in response. he can fall back to his position. Another 5v4 here for Avangar.
Prime real estate for them to be occupying at the moment. I don't see an opening for Valiance to get back in here. Sure, might be able to use these smokes, blanket the B bomb site, nullify James. So you've got Kickered up close. He's going to be happy to try and hold that
Not a lot of grenades to execute. A lot of grenades for counters, though, so let's see. Yeah, smokes come over. It's going to telegraph the play. Don't know. Oh, they've dropped the smoke to the A ramp, so that's already nullified. One of 2 smokes they had. Outside's not going to be any easier with 1 smoke grenade.
And with Sangiardia here at the bottom of the ladder, sees the feet of Hunter and falls outside of the door. Doesn't want to force the issue just yet, but he will go back inside. He waits a moment, sees that there's no counter utility, and just takes back his spot. And Valiance may take this back to the B site.
Yeah, they probably should. It's just the 30-second mark. They're really waiting a long time. Yeah, they're all grouped up. Fitch aggressive off angle, and
oh wow, that could have been a chance. Sanji's gonna get caught. He's just like moving back and forth. What's that? Buster gets that bomb down, but the ladder room falls, and Nexa hits the headshot from above. That A site just got cracked open. I feel like Valiance did a good job of finding timing that they didn't necessarily create. It was just Fitch moves his crosshair right before he dies.
He starts walking, yeah.
Yeah, Sanji kind of, he'd been in and outside of the door, but takes a duel versus 3 as he's outside of it. And even Kickert now cleared from spawn. So hell of a round from Valiance, but I don't know if they realize how they managed that.
Yeah, Nexa is the hero getting those entries, but the spots were perfect from Avangar. They had ladder room control. That would have been it. If he stayed alive, held in ladder, could have waited to deny a bomb plant. Instead, I think Fitch sets him off, so he was better off just not moving at all. Like, this late in the round again, they were, obviously he was scared that they were probably going to re-aggress inner, so it was like, let me go make sure it's not an outside play, but they had the 5v4, so why throw that away? And I think Fitch could have tucked himself in and then used his teammate in ladder to just maintain a crossfire. Just sound fundamentals probably would have won that round. Instead, now they have to force up. James will be able to get an op, so that's something. And they haven't seen it quite yet, so they might run into this op shot if they're not careful. Congregation of the CTs outside the ladder. And Valiance seem to appear to want to move quickly into the B site. They've got one late person back in the CT spawn in between IV and T-Con. And I'm not sure what he wants to do. If he's going to try to lurk out of T-Con or just come back late for ladder.
That smoke down now, and the execution won't move out.
Oh, I think he's lining up a smoke for outside. Just the whole rotates.
Must be. Yep, sure enough, he's going to flashes it as well, so it is very much Kickered alone. Just that CZ just dumpstered Esperanto. Instant headshot. Neither of the 2 weapons here for Avangar in a position to do anything, so they will just grandfather them forward.
So a big thing, obviously, with Train is that you can easily pull a Z rotator back to outside for just a second. And so if you time your smoke properly, or use that smoke to actually push inside, then you can pull them on the other side of the smoke, and it's much more difficult to get back to the inside site, especially if Z's smoked out. So they just wanted to guarantee the 4-1. They don't need to spend a lot of utility to do it. They probably pretty much did it in the best way possible. And Avangar are in no position to hold. They fortunately only lose the CZ. And overall, it was kind of a force. So recycling these guns is massive. And Valiance would love to find them, but it doesn't seem like they will. They also don't know that James still has an op, I don't think. Decent round from Valiance. They make it as easy as possible.
Yep.
It's kind of the goal every time. You force a team to save, that's awesome. Yes, they get to play again with the same guns, but whatever. You get closer to victory.
And there's not going to be anything really bought up around it, so same chances really here in the 6th. Valiance, meanwhile, making that bank, stacking that cash. And Avangar stacking a few grenades into their collection for this round. Where are they going to use them? James going to get aggressive. Doesn't want to get kind of, you know, stranded in the rotate, give away B for free, but I guess they don't fancy getting too aggressive.
Dude, they aren't even, oh, they mollied it late, okay. So they threw the initial flash, which is good, but he had a chance there to re-peek. But obviously didn't want to get off. He had gotten that pick in the past.
Look at this rotate.
Oh boy.
Really banking on the fact that Valiance, you know, hopefully won't hit that B site once more.
Depends how they look at it, if it's an anti-eco to them or not. And Sanji, he's gotten a deke from here in the past.
Waits for it. Dude, the patience pays off. Maybe another. Otto's tagged up, and he has that pistol out as well. But he'll best him. So the deagle hits the dirt. That forward A control. Does it scare Valiance away, or does it draw them in like a moth to the light?
Yeah, can they afford to lose another scout? Another good gun here on Nexa. He's on for the full-on lurk. They're moving into the B site, so Nexa here just to try to backstab. And it seems like the read is correct. Bomb gets put into the hands of Esperanto, who's up front, but the CTs aren't here to stop them. But here's a good chance for our Valiance not only win this round, but get the exit kills if Nexa can flank.
He's starting to creep in now as they take that B site. Does he go all the way around?
Oh my god, dude.
Seems so. He'll be dropped by Jame eventually. So just that one op-up. Kickert's going to try to grab the AUG or the AK and save that too. But 4th round for Valiance in the opening 6 of their T side. That's a great position to be in.
Definitely. Very sick entries, man, from Nexa. They didn't necessarily need those kills, but he gets traded out by James, so they retain the most important gun. It is going to be another buy-up now for Avangar. But they put themselves in this position off of one bad play. It's a little sketchy CT decision by Fitch, potentially. We'll see if they can clean that up, because they still have been able to get 5v4 a lot of the time. Yep. They even get Letney on this round. So I think it's almost every single round they've gotten the first kill. Scary territory for Valiant, but the slight lead is nice. They've made quite a bit of money. They've had majority rebuys the last 3 rounds, I believe. Avangar, on the other hand, are buying pretty much down to 0. Fitch, 2,100 left over, and he'll be dropped the gun by James. They even out. Got a little bit of a security blanket, but overall, it's probably a save here for Avangar if they lose. Again, that first tier execute outside means absolutely nothing, but if you're Avangar, you still have to throw counter grenades just in case. Try to steal back this vision. There's not a lot of focus on ladder. T's are not adamant about taking it.
Yep.
Avangar aren't using their spawns. This is a really big advantage for Letney, but he falls off the angle. Would have had the shadow on Sanji.
Sanji kind of retreats a bit here too. He's not the only player with his attention turned towards T-Con. They should know Letney's pinned into the left side, so they want to use that utility, maybe flush him out or keep him pinned into it. He's going to have to fight his way out or just get saved. Otto. Nice swing, and neither of those 2 Ts even expose themselves to James, so Avangar lose their closest members, but jumping through the scope will cost him. At least kept to a 1-man advantage, not 2.
Sloppy play here from Avangar. Tactically speaking, they had the right idea. They knew exactly where he was. They knew how to isolate him. They sent 2 bodies as well as a Molotov at him, and they'd both go down. Making good pushes. James getting that initial trade is huge, and now that they've established that they're aware of Valiance cannot take Ivy control, we'll see what Valiance are going to do. It's outside becomes a whole lot harder if the CTs are not even worried about Ivy.
Gonna head to the B site. Kicker will be tested. How close does he get to the site before they arrive? It's 4 players down ramp. Already one able to cross. Lines up 2, but can't maintain that spray. Esperanto will best him. Hunter gets aggressive. His bomb is planted. And both these CTs rotate through Z. Auto, scope up, ready to go.
My god. Caught on the molly. Strange flick that he had to hit, but he delivered.
Oh, this is a killer T-side from Valiance.
It is, but there's, like, Avangar dropping stuff. You know, it wasn't very clean. Their kicker, it seemed uncomfortable taking that fight. Those 2, that double push into T-Con was kind of messy.
I like the rotates, though. Valiance, they've been hitting the right sites every time.
Yeah, the rotates have been good.
Playing it versus anti-eco. Gun rounds, too.
Just feels like James and Sanji are the only 2 players that are playing well for Avangar right now. Like, again, you cannot just let these kills go, especially this deep into the tournament. Valiance will happily pick up 5. And this is to pick the team to go up against Furia in the finals. Good cover from Otto. They do throw the double Molotov in there, and Otto has to go to town, so otherwise Fitch probably gets the AUG spray kill, even though he should have had it already.
MP9's gonna play inside of the trains. Cluster. You saw him get aggressive with like the man disadvantage out Ivy. Just trying to skewer any T's, but he's not alone close this time. Nexus ready for it. Jane burnt to 36 HP. Hungry for a kill, and he has given nothing.
Yeah. You know, it is good to take those risks sometimes. I think he would have liked to maybe take like half that damage off the peak. But there is nobody there. There's information gained at the very least. Valiance are doing a good job here. They're cut in back to Ivy for the first time, I believe, in the match. The only other time was with Nexa as a lurk. It's been quiet in terms of grenades for both sides. It's mostly just been about trying to pull off these walkouts. I know Busker was last spotted here. I don't know if they're going to give him a lot of attention or try to push through. 50 seconds left, and they're kind of just playing the waiting game.
They've been content to do this, though, throughout the half. You know, I feel like I haven't seen Valiance panic. No matter what point of the round, there's been no panic. Even when Letney was pinned into T-Con, you know, Auto swings out at the perfect moment. They almost let Avangar make their move, only then to bear trap. Here's Buster with a peek.
30 seconds left.
Yeah.
It's a good Molotov.
That's a T-molly. That's their own molly.
That's their own molly when they go far enough.
Weird bounce, you know, gets stuck on some kind of rafter.
Unlucky.
Geometry's a pain, but Fitch still inside of the train yard. Sanji comes out from the corner. MP9's good enough for the first. Esperanto's gonna be burned forward on the op, and he misses his shot, so down he goes. Now that cuts off the bomb, and there's nothing they can do. Unless they get all of the kills instantly, this round is going to Avangar. So they're desperate, and they try, but try as they might, here we go. Avangar find their third.
They actually do it. It is gonna be a situation where, well, Valiance have so much money left over. They can buy comfortably, and it cost Avangar a ton of money, so the buy is heavily in the favor of Valiance, I would say. We'll see about the grenades. It was kind of unfortunate that the Molotov, you know, it's their Molotov in the 20-second mark. That stops them from getting out of Ivy quickly enough. Who knows if the kills would have gone differently. Gets a bit chaotic from that perspective. Now Valiance are wasting no time. Moving out to B, and James wants to pick.
Nice
flash is great.
Killer kicker. Not the first time we've seen that aggro B op peak either, but first time it has worked out so favorably.
The second time.
That it's worked out favorably?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, James got the pick. Remember, he peeked upper, and that was like the second round that he got it. So he has tried a lot. He has tried a lot. Another 5v4, again, for Avangar.
See if Valiance just going to execute. We've got Sanji getting curious in T-Con as he has. Fitch gonna try to lock down the trains, pop flash over. T's not really worried about the lane, but rather just pushing up from sight. Letney, huge kill. That's gonna create a lot of comfort for his teammates, and James looking uncomfortable here as the targets get close. And he toys with the idea of pushing smoke. Esperanto's managed to get himself behind enemy lines, but down he goes. Kicker bests him. 4 versus 3. Valiance looking to lock down the site. Letney with another crucial headshot, but there's a player already past him. So Buster could break open this defense because Nexa's not ready. And now Buster has the backside. He should have Letney. Yes, peeks wide. Has to go really in on it. Hunter, in the meanwhile, he took the high road, and he's not going to peek to stop bomb. Defuse from Buster.
Wow.
Dude.
He went for the gamble. The 1v2, Hunter's not got a lot of HP. Wanted to hit that nade. I don't know if that nade could have killed.
But the bomb just turned white at the end. Like, that defuse was in the last second, and he never even bothered to try and clear it.
Wait, was it?
I thought so. I thought I heard a beep. Maybe I'm a madman, Mohan.
We obviously don't have as good of a sound as you guys do for the in-game, but I don't think the bomb was that close. I might be wrong. I could be wrong. We could both be wrong.
Maybe I'm blinded by bloodlust, because those trade frags and Letney, I mean, damn, he pushes past killer headshots. That whole round collapses, though, if Esperanto bests kicker over on spools.
Mm-hmm.
But Letney's going to do it again.
5v4 this time for Valiant. So at least Avangar turned that 5v4 into a win. Uh-oh, and James he takes a lot of damage. Lucky to be alive, for sure. But getting into the B side are Valiant. They have a big advantage now. Sanji, it seemed like he went up the ladder and met an enemy. That flank shut down. Now Otto takes Fitch out of the sky.
Yeah, he just wants information. He gets a whole lot more. If Valiance can bounce back onto the board with just this flawless round win, 5 players up, that's going to be great for them. And icing on the cake if Nexa can get to where they want to save. Perfect timing as they rise, but just can't best Sanji.
Another round where Valiance abused B. They've, I think, 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6 rounds, they've gotten the plant down, got the round win inside B, and it's gone well. They've had minimal resistance most of the time. There, they caught James on a good flash. They got down on the site quickly. Definitely moving out nicely. Solid questions here for Avangar. Can they perform in the retake? They did win one of their rounds 2 rounds ago on the retake. But do they want to rely on that? Attack called here for Avangar as they discuss things. They definitely don't look all there to me right now, and Valiance are just harping on that over and over again. They have to decide if they want to buy 2. They have majority guns, but nobody can drop another rifle apart from a FAMAS. And it looks like, and then James down to 1900 now. So everyone's just going to buy up utility. Fitch has just got a deagle. We've seen the aggressive plays work out in the early round for Avangar. Taking T-Con control could be a good idea. The only thing is, the real threat for them is inner. And James has been prodding them from the upper B with his op, and he's been quite a menace. It's hard to kill him. Him and Kicker. Oh, wow. Dinked by his own teammate. You have to assume that was talked about. And then Buster dies, too.
Sanji can pull this pack, tucks himself away of T-Con, but this is not a good place for Avangar to be, especially considering they come in with so much of an investment. You want to make something happen. You want to start curbing back Valiance because they've had nothing but success. Sanji's been so consistent in this T-Con control. Letty not ready for it.
Ah, smoke. And how will he go back? They didn't have anybody inner there for a second. Good read on the situation. Nice spray.
Beautiful. Not only does James get Hunter on the right side of ladder, but then Sanji aware of the threat from the second. Considering this started off with Sanji getting tagged up by Buster and being down in the 4v5, which, as you've said, we've seen Avangar succeed from, this is a great way to claw back around. Try to cut down that lead to just 1, but it's not over yet. We've seen Nexa pop heads from above. This time he gets dropped. Otto comes in with just 1 shot, nearly connects the next, but Kicker gonna close it.
It really feels like if James and Sanji are alive, they have a chance, especially versus outside. On inner, it's a whole different story. It comes down to Kicker. Doesn't seem like his best day of CS. A lot of ways here to lose. Otto has just a micro angle to work with and gets that shot in. So it could have been a pretty decent shoulder peek from Buster, but the reaction time was too strong. Weird start to the round, but Avangar bring it back. It's going tit for tat. It's 5-6. I'm sure Avangar are not very happy about the scoreline, but Valiance are probably not either. This is their map pick. Full sets of utility. We'll have a full-on buy. The only low weak gun in this round is a Galil.
Any big changes you'd like to see out of this T side?
Out of the T side, I don't think they are doing so much wrong on the T side. I think their outer is significantly weaker than their inner takes, but that's totally okay, because Avangar still haven't proven they can really win inner every time. So I honestly would just like to see them go back to inner at different timings and avoid getting offs.
Oh, wow. Whoa!
Dude. Dude. That's a lot of damage, but he lives.
And then they followed up with the frag on top of it. Unreal.
So much damage dealt already.
Not a single tick back the other way. Sanji's gonna lay down the smoke, try to cut off the ladder room. This really screws over Letny as he becomes a one-man show.
He's gonna make sure no one snuck out to Olaf. It's actually a tease to fall back, but they baited out a lot of good utility response. But again, you pointed out, not a tick of damage done to the CTs. Super strong round already. I mean, at least Otto, the lowest, is opping. Kind of stay back, probably get a shot off without taking damage. But everybody else up front, they are going to get melted to bits.
James got a slight gap to play with, but now he's kind of stranded here. Sanji's gonna wrap around the T's. Easy backstab. Spray down's a little long, but he gets the job done. He'll die in the end as Nexa comes out through smoke, but Otto gets nothing. And Nexa gonna have to close this up. 35 seconds as he turns this into the 1v2, but Kicker just does not let off that pressure. We're all tied up at 6.
I do wonder, why they want to try outside again, but at least they now maintain the threat that they could always go here. They did have one great round with Nexa coming out of T-Con where he got the 3K entry outside, But again, a little bit of flub on that round from Avangar. I'm not totally sure that they could just pull that off one more time. Using him as a lurk has been pretty good as well. I just think they've got to be highlighting their strengths and thinking about B a lot more than A. This half is almost over. And it's only pistols here for Avangar, so they might actually be able to take a lead. It feels like Valiance were in control, but suddenly Avangar might be able to swing things back. And dude, Valiance won the pistol, but they lost the next 2 rounds.
Sanji's been so good at just getting himself like into the mix of Valiance. I think he's topping the scoreboard for them. Yeah, 14 and 9.
No, he's been awesome. Him and James just been awesome. James actually dropped a few op shots, but an interesting stat I would like to look more at is just how many kind of like shots on goal. It would be the equivalent stat in sports. It would just be like, how many opportunities has he had to hit a shot though? He still has a lot of kills and he's dropped some shots, but he's giving himself opportunities. And here comes 4 more. First shot's in.
Wait. And as they try to cross again, it is not going to work out for them in the least bit. Deagle for 1 is all that comes up out of Valiance this round. So they have stagnated at 6 rounds for 3 in a row now. If Avangar can close with the final 5 rounds of the half, that's going to be a really good way to recuperate what was once a 6-4 CT side. Or 4-6, rather.
I'm a big fan of the way that Valiance are pacing.
Yeah.
It's a little bit dull in the sense that they kind of wait and then they explode. But, you know, they're trying to get in between counter grenades, and I like that style of play on T side. Why always full execute if you can get completely called out for it? Now, Otto just sneaks out to Olaf. First time at way more kind of standard way to approach outside. Buster's going to take somewhat of an off angle over top of the smoke that will soon leave. And it seems like Nexar is just happy to take this fight.
Who's got the reactions?
Who do you think's going to win this one?
Buster.
Buster, okay. Oh, okay, just time it. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, it came back.
Sanji going to get cleared out. Doesn't expect Otto to be an Olaf. Now, where does he go? He's calling for his teammates to come join him. Letney takes his position back in the corner. Bomb still inside connector, floating around at spawn. Setting smokes right now is Esperanto. It's a deep one. Buster knows what's up. Player trickling in here, so should indicate the A split.
Not even double scoping. What a madman.
0 ladder control for the moment. If Hunter does double back from B, then it's added to the tally. Thrown into the mix.
Super safe situation from the CTs, but there's no one inside.
Now they're gonna have to throw one back. Kicker needs confirmation. Flash to clear Ivy. Green train is theirs. So
peace of mind on that one.
Yep. Getting a little. Oh no.
Oh, they think it's gonna be inside though. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, bad rotation, but Buster can still just lock down the cross. He's almost caught in the open.
Insane.
3 kills for him. On for the ace, but Fitch is going to add to the collection. And it's a 4th for Buster.
Okay. See how it's like just so quiet?
Right.
And it's working well for Valiance. They're actually getting outs into really aggressive spots. They even get the rotation out of Avangar they were looking for, pulling them into Z, when to us it looks like, well, they're about to attack A. It should be obvious. They haven't made any presence. It's kind of smart of them to avoid all of the Molotovs and stuff that makes train so difficult. However, Avangar, small lead in this half. Their T side's going to be pretty terrifying, I want to say. And Valiance don't have great guns this round. Scout, 2 Galils, a MAC-10, and a player down.
Yeah, see ya next round. Buster's got one out from Ivy. That's Hunter removed, and the remaining of Valiance are just going to have to try and trudge forward into the B site. It's all they have here in the 15th round, and even damage. Poor Letney.
It'd be very telling if they could round this out with just a nice inner hold, which they haven't been able to do. But they have the 5v4, and it's just really bad guns here for Valiant, so could naturally be one of those rounds.
Kicker ready for the cross. Anybody taking the high road?
Good flash for him with the smokes to cross.
Yep. Fitch gets 2 though. Oh
no
man.
plan for you, my man.
You are donezo. Esperanto. A long-range headshot with a Galil, but that's it. 9-6, kind of out of nowhere. 5 rounds to close the half there on the CT side of Avangar. Not even a bomb plant. Folks, we'll be back with the second half of this second semifinal.
Can you see that the sky things you said, all the promises you made, it wasn't all in my head. Picking up the pieces of my heart, every time you break it all apart. I should have learned to let you go. When it's all gone, the times that we spent just a memory. It's been too long to try it all again. Can you see that the sky is falling right now as I'm walking out the door? Oh baby, now it's all or nothing. Oh, oh, oh. Gotta see it as it is now, darling. I want you, but I just can't stand the pain. Oh baby, now it's all or nothing. Walk through the fire, come and take me higher. Getting tired of all the times you said you'd make it right. To be forever, it can't be undercover.
While Furia wait in the finals, we have Avangar with a 3-round lead here on map 1. It's their opponent's map choice, and Valiant's happy to get 6 rounds as quick as they did, but they tapered off Mohan. Avangar figuring out that defense as the T's just continued to trickle into bomb site after bomb site, sometimes making it happen, but more often than not, falling short.
True.
Now, we're back in with a second pistol. Great flashbang. James not supposed to get anything, but that gunfight was a little extended.
Very much so. This actually trigger the inner hit. And Nexa will go off from Dennis. Long-range Glock's not looking too strong. But the smoke is out. Bomb can't be retrieved. They want to rocket back outside. We've got a 5th man out there, but he dies too. They're lucky to get a bomb down in this situation.
Is a very flat pistol.
He's got 4 stars GTA.
They're all coming in on him. The tanks are coming. Down he goes. Hunter able to, from a distance, make the most of the USP. That's an excellent pistol round from Valiance. I love that they get their T-con control. They flash in, find their frag, and then just pepper back those pesky ramp players.
Yeah, rotate quickly. But yeah, man, the first half could have been better. I think if they just saw they had a good thing in front of them, that 5-round win streak, a lot of those inner hits. They were like, yeah, we just did everything we need to at inner. Let's not do that again.
Ooh.
And then they dropped a lead.
What do you feel about this?
What are you oohing?
When CTs win pistol and then just keep their USP with armor.
I don't know. Like I think it's like you get like a bigger loss bonus from an SMG. You do spend a little bit more money, but it's safer. And I guess just because Avangar didn't get the plant, he feels comfortable. But yeah, I like buying an SMG.
And I'm gonna give Esperanto the benefit of the doubt and says he may expect them to have 0 invested in this. Literally nothing coming out of Avangar. Not a single flashbang, not even a Zeus, no P250.
They're saving money.
We're talking vanilla. Real vanilla.
It's all in the trust fund.
Nexa, 2 closing kills. That MP9's making cash, and Valiant's bringing it back. 1 round, the difference.
It's going to be a tight race, no doubt. Honestly, Avangar looked a little bit shaky, but part of that was Buster, and Buster looked good at the end of the half.
Yeah.
You know, he was pushing Ivy, getting the kills. He wasn't thinking his teammates anymore.
Look at that, round 3 op. Double op.
Oh, wow. That's pretty nuts.
That's why Esperanto had a USP.
So,
it's almost like he's the expert.
Yeah, there is an argument for saving money, but the SMG kills.
It's all fine and dandy when things go well.
Avoid getting any damage. It's a bit of a standoff here. As Avangar looking for a pick, but they're expecting something aggressive. That isn't the case right now.
Easy first one. Auto's ready. I don't even think he's flashed off that. Then Nexa just gets fed too with the MP9. I mean, okay, what a shutdown here from Valiance. Hell of a hold.
The drop was not perfect. James comes down like his... As soon as somebody dies and James is meant to drop on the left side, he has to get that trade right away. There is a chance, It's not easy to fall back if you're the Opper. There's like 1 second where you can nail that, but he came down a little bit late, so it was a disjointed push, and that resulted in everybody else getting killed as well. And I mean, even the rotator in Esperanto comes through with the op duel and takes Jame out. Not good signs for Avangar early on in this half. Double ops stays strong for Valiance, and Avangar are going to be aware of both ops this time. Now they're going to be buying up a little bit. They're going to invest in Deagles and a Scout. It's going to be a slower round where they work picks for Avangar, and yeah, count them up. We've got one inner flat-out failure so far in this game.
A boost in T-Con would be fun if you weren't being burnt out of position.
Good coverage on that Molotov.
Oh, nice. Grenade hits the mark, brings Fitch down to near half.
Nice CT side spots here for Valiance. Maintaining distances with Ivy control. And the odds are, live odds favor Valiance. Definitely see why.
I can understand that.
Especially after that round.
Think they may have a map in their back pocket. I mean, Dust mentioned that he anticipates this falls to the third map, in which Dust 2 is a very big question mark.
We know Avangar have an amazing Dust 2.
Yep. That they do. Maybe we won't even get there.
But I think in this form, man, both teams get stomped by Furia right now.
Firing off the AK to try and clear Olaf. Even turns back for Sanji. Like, you want some? Well, you got some. Fitch, Deagle, headshot from downtown, 25 seconds on the clock. Molotov to the top of the train. Like, give these guys a chance. Frag bounces off. Slightly inconveniences Fitch, but it's Buster with another kill.
Yeah, does he know?
Fitch knows. He knows there's another player here. They could do this. If he lands it, he needs to do it, but can't. Just a smidgen of damage is all it would take. And Buster's still looking for these last two heads. Knows the players are here, but just can't do it.
Oh. Yeah, I hate to watch that. You just don't want to see it. There's a Deagle. It only gets worse the faster you spam. But yeah, that could have been around, actually. If he got that one Deagle kill, they could plant the bomb. They know the second player is in Z. He can't peek that easily. Big chance. They don't steal it back, though. Valiance first to double digits.
Yeah, guns, though.
And they keep the two ops. They keep the two ops going. I like this, man. It's a really good first test. Puts a lot of pressure on Jame. Everything he does is a risk now. Mollies go both ways. Both teams show interest in Ivy.
Oops. It's all these damn angles in Ivy, huh? Really ruining grenades today.
Letney taking that position that we saw a lot from Sanji. And it's kind of known from both sides. It's just hard to deal with. A well-timed smoke. You know, here's something getting thrown over. It's like, all right, perfect time to release this. Maintain for a bit longer. He's got a teammate to support him on the fallback at a ladder as well. And Avangar want to try to take that first. I think they'll be able to drop, though. Yeah, there's no one here to fight him. So we'll see if the grenades come through or if they're just going to leave it.
Yep. They eject.
They've threatened positions. Letney is now the guy they're isolating. But it's the 3 Ts on the other side of the map to move down to inner.
It's a big test for Esperanto.
They come down dry. This might not favor them.
Oh, and he moves. Worst possible timing. Repeaks in, hits Fitch. Nexa dead. And Esperanto's second shot will sure enough grab himself one. But bomb's planted. And there's a man advantage for Avangar to try and play with. They do have Fitch still on the opposite side of the map. He's going to go on some crazy long flank. So for the time being, he is completely out of this equation, and it's a 3v3 on B. Valiance, they seem timid. They don't seem convinced like they want to push for this. Hunter blindsided by Jame. He just turned his head, anticipating a peek, but it just never happened. So the two oppers will want to survive, and this is when Fitch's position, well,
comes into play?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, he rhymes with Fitch. It's the first one down. How is Esperanto going to fare?
This would be a pretty massive pickup, honestly. He's coming around the corner. Ah!
Nice. So
chance
one-off
there.
move.
Yeah, Esperanto needed to hit his shot. Now, he did rotate because there was nades outside. And again, this is something that Valiance did to Avangar in the first half. They just threw a little bit of utility over top of T-Con, and that's enough to pull a rotator out of Z just for a second. But then the execute was perfectly timed so that they went down the ramp simultaneously, and it was an easy round. So kind of signs of Valiance in a sense with Avangar, especially with this kind of Nexa-esque lurk at Ivy as well. A pause called for Valiance as they talk things over. It's 10-10 now. It's hard to tell who's going to win. There's been a dominant round both ways, I'd say. And Valiance have at least picked up the they pick up the majority of the early rounds in both halves. Come out of this. They lost one of the ops, and they're going to pick it up again. That's actually very expensive.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it goes without saying, right? But if they can't afford to keep this going, I thought it was something they drop after it failed once. But if they don't do that, they're going to make it really hard to buy back.
It's a killer grenade. The one they throw back's not as good.
Was that is it a grenade out T-Con?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. A wild Jame appears.
Hot damn. It was a T-Con to bomb site grenade. Blew up as they were trying to jump over.
Don't think they get a read on the setup after killing the op at Ivy. Could still be one or back 6. And Valiance have got a ladder player who is low. A ladder being low is huge, you know, because sometimes he'll take 30, 40 damage every time someone drops. Might be on even footing with someone who just goes dry. Total pull drop especially. Hunter, though, nice spray. Arcing over. Taking out Sanji and being very careful about falling back. Letney does get tagged on his way out. Down to 7.
Dude, he's been hit by 3 grenades this round. Like, he hasn't even seen anyone.
Yeah.
And he only has 7 health.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Burn
that was a
Hunter
good way
up.
to couple that with that Molotov.
Yeah. Just torch out the bee's hive. Letney's going to get into the closer smoke. There are no more grenades that can kill him, so someone's going to have to use a bullet, which they will.
They just softened him up for that moment.
Easy pickup from Fitch. There's Kickert's headshot. Nexa known to be the last man up, and down he's dropped. Buster with the high road, and Avangar back in the lead.
These are the scary rounds at Avangar that you have to go up against with Avangar. They appear to not have a plan for most of the rounds. They just go into a default. Here's an open and kill.
That's so cool.
They take an op out. Yeah, crosshair placement perfect. This one, they use a Molotov here. Once again, just straight up default passive from their positions, and they work with 5v3. That's nuts.
It's like when you say like they feel like they don't have a plan, but they do have pieces of a puzzle.
Pieces of a puzzle,
right?
yeah.
So we get like, okay, guys, let's do a run boost Ivy. All right, Esperanto's wrecked. How about we try to flush him out? And sure enough, the whack-a-mole in full effect. James op, hammering off at the moment. Hunter's gonna get a cheeky corner kill. Sanji.
Only a MAC-10 recovered, I think.
Yeah, not the biggest of prizes.
Definitely not a super worthwhile scout. Now they see someone looking at inside. This is where you probably want to try to act. And it is just 2 USPs at the back now as Jane picks up another kill. He's starting to heat up. And yeah, I think Avangar's game plan is they're really good at getting 5v4s, moving slowly.
Right.
And then from there, they're so good at knowing what kind of punish you're going to try to do. How do you bring back the 4v5? And when they figure you out there, that's when it just goes downhill. And then that just feeds into their economy. They're just doing a good job moving slowly, using minimal grenades. Here they get the bomb down. They still have 2 smokes, they have 4 smokes, excuse me, 2 Molotovs, 2 HEs. Basically got in on the cheapest utility possible, and so they have lots of money to buy.
Ooh, close one.
I don't want to drop that one.
James like, try me.
Feed me. He really is Nevermore. Another solid round, and Avangar quietly slip into like a more dominant position. Getting close here into these critical rounds. And again, Valiance, they bought 2 ops. I think even on rounds they won, they had to rebuy the second op. So they've just spent, wow, they just had spent so much money, man.
James turning up the heat now too.
Dude, they have no kits on this round. They've decided to go all rifles. They have no ops because they spent so much money. And so this is absolutely pivotal here.
Big pivot round. Single flash left up. That belongs to Esperanto. You got 4 smokes and then no utility. They're going to go for the Ivy control. That's what they used their last tidbit of a flashbang for. Hunter doesn't know how far should he go. There's Sanji on the other side falling back towards spawn, but Hunter's just going to tuck himself away.
Not a single flash left for the CTs. One of the smokes of 4 is left the hands of Otto, and Sanji gets a kill. Eesh, this is terrible. This is terrible for Valiance.
That's an AK versus AUG fight at that distance, so good on Sanji to pick it up.
Yeah, and this is a round where it's just like free op shots. You know, no flashes, no HEs, no mollies. This is where James is definitely going to be the strongest, and they've already got the rifle 5v4.
Ooh, there's a late T-spawn player, though. Fitch is going to double back, and yep, sure enough, drops Esperanto. Esperanto's thinking, I can get behind an execution. Whether it's T-Con or B, I will be on that flank. But remember, when Fitch goes all the way back towards Ivy just to clear their saves not too many rounds ago, he's doing the same thing. So consistent in that lurk. But here's Nexa with a good position. Can't land his shots, though. Does some damage. Could prime Otto for a big play. He has allowed 2 players past, and James now down. That's the bomb remove. Then a quick flick from Otto. He's gonna just get himself back up the ramp. He is inside of the T's.
Where are they?
There's a chance Kicker just gets that bomb.
Buster's going up the ladder.
12
so
seconds.
He needs to get this kill.
He's gotta get it now. Otto dropped, and the HP near non-existent as Kicker doubles back. If only Letney had a nade.
Oh, and a chance there. Such low HP, and this round gets a whole lot harder. Buster stays out in the open. He says, screw it, I'm here to duel. Man.
Otto.
That round.
Big effort by Otto.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was a really good try, man. That was a nice play. Around that Avangar had, it's super important round again. I mean, it was so close.
Not only after, even after he gets these first 2 kills, you know, gets James, quick flick headshot, goodbye.
Blinked.
When he fights the player in the upper box halls, you know, he lost that duel by like 10 HP.
Yeah, it's close.
If he wins that, then there's no way Kicker plants bomb.
Yeah.
And that's a round for Valiance. So really,
a round for Valiance, and a round Valiance can buy.
Yep.
You know, like this is they don't have enough for anything.
There's important longevity from that last round's result, and unfortunately for Valiance, that longevity belongs to Avangar. 3-round lead, full advantage in this one.
They'll have to go crazy on this eco.
It's gonna have to get nuts.
But a damage dealt to Letney. Fitch, not the time to be switching. Crisscross smokes. No peek from Esperanto. Just tries to turn to dodge a flash, but there isn't one there.
Player in ladder rooms, Letney.
Whoa, they teased through a smoke? Oh, they threw the smoke from the top of the ladder. Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Smokes off any kind of a play. Otto not going to be able to disrupt this bomb plant, so this pushes the T's into a fantastic spot. There's still that element of surprise with Letney, but he's starting to burn, and down he goes. Blown to smithereens. Otto on the site, which is a great place to be if you want to defuse the bomb, but unfortunately he has too many prying eyes ready to peel him off. Damn, James!
Yeah.
How you going to do him like that? 14 rounds for Avangar, moving through the anti-eco, slicing through Valiance at this point. This T-side has been phenomenal.
James is not dying. 14 to 10, he has 8 deaths. That's like a 16 to 2 score line or something. You know, he's barely ever. Actually, wouldn't have.
I'd like to know the last time he did die.
The last time he did die. That's a good question. Yeah, this op is getting old.
Yeah. Aged. Like a fine cheese.
It's cool. Just dodges a flash. They could have taken him out. High value target right there, but he lives another day. Man, I really think the double op setups, although they were nice for Valiance to get those early rounds, I really don't think buying into them again was the best decision.
Right. It has been a key piece to like the CT side they want, but just because you want it doesn't mean you can afford it.
And you know, one op is great. You get kind of diminishing returns on 2. Centering your whole strategy around 2 ops is not sustainable if you're going to do that every single map. It's just too expensive. Here they'll have a chance to buy it up, and now it makes sense as a last-ditch effort almost again.
Right.
To get back to that, and they just got to get a streak with it and not lose these guns. But they're going wide with some of these shots. Esperanto, Otto.
That's the real kicker. Like you may have these ops every time, but if you're going to invest in it, you got to make it work. And in this case, it has not. James though has an op of his own. Pinned into the gunfights with his teammates by his side. Sanji, incredibly long lurk. He's going to come in through C. This should section off the CTs, but how far forward do they get before he even gets in here? There's so many smokes going up all over the site. Sanji's about to hit them from the back, and he activates versus Hunter. James op good for 1. Kicker through smoke will be punished for his push, and there's still a chance here for Valiance. A fresh breath Buster gonna put the Molotov down on the bomb, but it doesn't hit the mark. He still sprays though, covered up close, and Otto's gonna have to retreat. That's 15 for Avangar.
They barely get it. Yeah, he absolutely must have gotten that spray he did with the last bullet. Avangar get match point on Valiance's map choice, breaking their land loss streak potentially here. It's not a great buy. They do recover. At least they keep the op from the last round. They've got a couple of MP9s and an AUG. They're still definitely in this round. Just the fact that Avangar won so many rounds now in a row is the predominant factor that's weighing on Valiance's mind for sure. And not being able to kill Jane is huge too. Ooh. I think he thought for a second he wasn't going to offer up that pick, but then he realized that the guy crossing E-box maybe didn't see him. Went for the re-zoomy. The unzoomy, then the re-zoomy.
Zimmy Zumbas.
Clean your Roombas.
It's not even fun. Oh my god.
Timon and Pumbaa.
And a Letney here by ladder. Poor guy's been in some pretty tough spots, directly affecting his performance.
It's not been one to write home about.
I mean, look, he's been bullied by grenades.
Yeah, it's true.
I feel like he's seen more frag grenades than he has people to shoot at. After this game, he's gonna ask, like, yeah, okay, listen, guys, we're changing up positions.
I don't like ladder anymore, guys.
I want to go home. Letney ready. Gotta be ready. This is a crucial position for him, especially with Valiance having that forward A setup. So as they drop down, he's done. One and traded out. Esperanto wants to take his place. The second MP9 player. Good. This is good for Valiance. And an op shot to follow from Otto. He's going to try and put his head back on a swivel, lock down Ivy, which he can. And individually speaking, Valiance just nailed it this round. Everybody did exactly what they had to do. You know, no hesitation for Esperanto to take the place of Letney. Letney going for the one and done. Very difficult to drop two bodies as they head stack down with an MP9. Like, you know, if he's working with an M4, maybe. So just nice. Nicely done by Valiance. They are not out of this map. They're not out of this match. But they are still with their back against the wall. 4 rounds straight, additionally, to the one they just picked up.
It's going to be about 2 more buys that they have to work through, like just straight up full buys that Avangar have earned themselves because of the streak of rounds they've won. So there is that counting against them a little bit, but they get this, you know, continual loss bonus just help them out. So, sorry, Valiance won't need a loss bonus. They're just going to lose the map if they lose this round, but they'll have enough money each round to still be winning if they do. Otto opping and hitting shots is a good sign. But it's hard to say he's the stronger one. However, the blind one onto Kickert. And previously, oh wow, okay, they try to bait out some shots. Previously, you know, Letney getting tenderized is just what their focus is. Just try to get him down some health. Hopefully the grenades hit, therefore when we drop, he doesn't even get one. But the last round he did do a good job of not taking a lot of damage.
Flashbangs
oh boy,
to both sides. But Otto will get the assist and then follow suit with a kill. Peeks wide for Sanji. Next, 3 kills this round for him alone, and he had impact in the previous as well. So if it's going to take this pressure of playing against 15 rounds for Avangar to activate Otto, then so be it. At least it's starting to come into fruition now. Better late than never.
Never late is better.
True. That's just objectively truthful.
That was just the lyric, so I don't even care if it's true.
Need a pause here, Mohan.
Don't we all?
Every once in a while. Take this chance to stand up, folks at home. Stretch your arms out. Touch your toes. You can see them. You never know.
Not building on that.
Okay.
So with the 2 rounds in a row, Valiance, well, Avangar have another completely healthy full buy here. They got the op that they need. James got out and op the last 2 rounds, and that's been a big thing for Valiance. Again, if we mention like how Avangar had their first dominant round in this half, was he was able to get that Ivy pick, then he turned that into a T-Con pick, and their default was a lot stronger. They aren't able to make those kills happen, at least in these last 2 rounds, and it's going to be important that James finds those openings. Yeah, he does have an op, so there is that. Otto moving into position, and again, he grows stronger by the round as well. flash out from Hunter, and it looks like it could be good. Oh my god, James, the readjustment.
Again.
And that's exactly how he started off this T-round streak. So, scary moment now. As James does take some damage. Nade sailing the way of Esperanto, but it goes far enough past. It's only a sliver of damage. Oh, wow. That's quite a risk to take, but I like that he's kind of testing the waters there. Very brave. However,
wow,
they find the 5v3 after getting the 5v4 right away.
Yeah.
Kind of Valiance's Achilles heel is not being able to be creative enough in reclaiming information. Letany did have a push in his hands if he went up the ladder, but he decided not to go for it. I thought that was a cool risk to take.
Yeah, it seemed like they wanted Esperanto to take the initiative instead. And
yeah.
I mean, Sanji just hiding behind the garbage cans. Some kind of goblin.
I wonder if he hits this. He seems so sure that there's somebody on the other side of Ivy. Sanji's just waiting for the push. If Otto comes down this wall looking the other way, his gun is going to stick all the way out.
Literally what happened to Esperanto, right? Esperanto's watching right side.
Oh.
Sanji's got enough. He's lost his patience and instead gained a headshot. Fare thee well, Otto. Nice little bit of resurgence in form with that op towards the end, but this is very much the end.
Oh, man.
There you have it. James to clear the ladder, finalizing this last round. 16-12, a good start to the CT side for the boys on Valiance, and that was after getting enough T rounds to really make this work. But once they had that 4 in a row, it was very much Avangar show. That's that. Train in the books.
It was a patient half for both sides, and an interesting T side in general, but ultimately Avangar come out ahead and break their streak.
It's done. They've managed to improve. I'm sorry I took off my jacket, Launders. Now I look like some kind of filthy casual.
Yeah, like dust.
Yeah. We're going to be back with the next map. It's Inferno, where we'll be cranking up the heat. I'm excited to see this one. I do think that we may still have 3 maps in our back pocket, but it's going to have to take something special from Valiance. We saw Otto reemerge. I'll get you guys there.